to jail in Russia for calling it a war.
Forget about Ukraine for a second. It will 100% continue to Taiwan, the Philippines, the Baltic.
Who the hell would want to take over Russia? Russia doesn't have enough oil for us to be interested in. It's a country that into the trash can.
And shout out to Mr. Doc Hill. He says, no, it's not properly reported. District attorneys don't take all charges. All right. Shout out Mr. Doc Hill. And last thing coming in as well. 90s still had major mafia families operating in big cities. Plus, they don't count the crime half the time with DAs dropping charges a lot. Well, yeah, district attorneys dropping charges. I mean, I guess they're trying to call BS on y'all statistics right now. They said they're not reporting.
They're not my statistics.
Of course, I know what you're saying. But, well, they're not trying to all BS in it, but they're trying to, poke holes. Like, you're right, crime is down, but in the 90s, there was a lot of things going on. I mean, drug violence.
Than just saying my statistics are wrong.
No, your statistics aren't wrong. I don't think that. Let's be real, they're not wrong, but there
are. No, that's what I'm saying. Is my argument to that would be come with better statistics that actually showcase something, because you can't showcase that something didn't happen.
Good point.
Yeah, for real.
All right.
I gotta say, Pierce, I mean, it's like, I'm just kind of disgusted by the tone. I got a general and a professional here who are, what are we doing? You're just trying to insult Vladimir Putin. I mean, it's like as if we're debating Sydney Sweeney or something like that.
Yo, what's up?
Yo, what's up?
I'm sure you've seen him before. What's your opinion on this Dave Smith guy?
I like him. Funny guy. He speaks the truth when he's when it comes to geopolitical topics, is like, I guess his sensei, Scott, what's his name? Scott Horton, done, bless him with all the knowledge of the Middle East history and our hand in it. So when it comes to that, let's be real. This man cooks every pro-Israeli he gets in front of. Like, he makes it look effortless. I like Dave Smith because he low-key cooks these guys, and it's like effortlessly he cooks them.
I mean, I will agree because he's usually doing it on Piers Morgan panels, and Piers gets like the worst people, honestly, on panels. But no, I'm generally pro-Palestine as well. But no, I totally disagree with Dave on the Ukraine stuff, but generally agree with him on the Israel-Palestine stuff. So, anyway, I was just curious. Let's keep playing.
All right. Thomas, like, what are you, an 80 IQ?
President Trump will meet President Putin at an historic summit in Alaska on Friday. It's the first meeting between the U.S. president and Putin since Russia invaded Ukraine, and it may represent the biggest chance yet of ending 3.5 years of war. Ukrainian President Zelensky is fearful that Trump's deal-making desires will result in a sellout with territory handed illegally to Russia.
Any decision that is against us, any decision that is without Ukraine, they are at the same time a decision against peace. They will not give anything. These are dead decisions. They will never work, and we all need real living peace, peace that people will respect.
Well, for his part, Trump says it's not his place to make a deal on Ukraine's behalf, but he does intend to tell Putin that it's got to end.
I agree with that. If you can't fight off Vladimir Putin's forces from taking your land, you have no right to make any demands. What do you guys think?
You think that, like,
I think we need their gallium.
We need the what?
We need their gallium.
Well, yeah, that's true. We do need their rare earth minerals for sure. For sure. I'm pretty sure Trump is trying to find a way to,
so
you know what?
Yeah, y'all gonna have to see some land. Actually do that.
Huh?
We have a vested interest to do that. If we don't want to be completely dependent on China, right? I remember the other night I was with you. I was like, hey, man, if we can get a deal with Ukraine, like, and have Trump like hard in, all right, U.S. and Ukraine, as long as I get that fucking gallium, I'm down. You know what I'm saying? I'm 100% down for like completely shutting off China to the rest of the world. But as long as they have the majority of that gallium, we're kind of fucked, man.
Yeah, I did. I also was thinking, like I said yesterday, I was like, bro, it's a minerals battle. Like, I always say, ignore the tariffs, ignore all this other stuff. It's a battle for minerals that decide if we win this or not. But so I do agree with you on that one. When it comes to Ukraine, I think that we can work something out with sadly land concessions and still being able to keep that trade deal going. If not, then we might have to work out a trade deal with Russia instead, which would be like walking with our tails behind our legs. It would be pretty shitty, but it's the reality that we may be faced with.
No, so I totally disagree. I totally disagree. If you're a country and you're a sovereign territory and you have your established borders, regardless of how powerful a different country is, how much bigger a different country is, if they want to come in and just say, actually, no, it doesn't matter what the people that live here think, it doesn't matter what the people who make the society work think, we're bigger, so we're going to take it, and that's what makes the world go. That's going to be a real shit world to live in. And
I agree with you. No, I hear you, but the problem is though, it's like in this situation, Ukraine and NATO kind of got themselves. Well, NATO kind of got Ukraine into this. If they'd have just left Ukraine alone, we wouldn't be here. It was just like this would not be a problem.
Ukraine's its own country. If it wants to flirt with NATO, if it wants to be part of that defensive alliance,
but then you got to fight for that. But you got to fight for that, bro.
And they are, and we should help them.
Something I don't think we've actually spoken on, but why do you think they joined NATO?
Why they want to join NATO?
In NATO?
No. Why did they join the? I guess I forget what actual council they're part of or whatever.
Very reasonable. They wanted that protection from Russia.
Okay, so why would they need protection from Russia or want protection from Russia?
Because they were scarred from the whole,
Russia
2014
was going
situation.
to attack anyways. So I don't know what this.
Russia was. I don't think Russia was going to attack anyway. I think Russia was only going to attack if
they've been posturing for 20 years.
Military alliance on their border. Oh, all right.
Well, no, Seth, have you heard Putin's reasoning for wanting to invade Ukraine?
Whose reason?
Putin.
Putin's reason.
Yeah, he wrote an essay and he's given like one or two interview he gave.
I remember the Tucker Carlson interview with Putin, and he pretty much he was laying out the historical relevance of how it was basically always Russia. There's Russian speaking people that he believes he's saving from Ukrainian persecution.
Yeah, nothing about NATO. Nothing about NATO.
No, and it's also because there's a military alliance. He don't want a military alliance on his border. But in 2014, though, that was his reason. You're right. In 2014, but in 2022, his reason was NATO.
That doesn't really stand the test of time because there are Baltic states that are part of NATO that are bordering Russia, and Finland now is part of NATO. And
I know, but that was their red line. Ukraine was their red line.
All right, hold on, Seth. If I were to give you that was their red line, that was the final straw, you can at least admit that was a single straw on the camel's back that already was weighing down, right?
Yeah.
Okay, that's it. That's all I'm saying. Like, Russia was definitely posturing. I give you that. Like, the Ukraine trying to join was like, oh, so they're just straight up trying to make sure that I can't invade them. No. We're doing it before all that shit goes down. I do think that 100% was why he went to war when he did. But I genuinely think that he was going to do it anyways at some point in time. He's been posturing for that for years.
All right, guys. So let's say there was a military alliance between China, Iran, and Russia, and they're bringing in Mexico or Canada, and they're in Mexico and Canada is actually considering it. What do you think we're going to do?
Well, I think those are sovereign states, man.
Well, they may be sovereign, but they'll lose their sovereignty overnight.
Hold on. Are they actually declaring war?
Try to take them over.
Are they declaring war, or are they just forming a alliance, a pact?
Yeah, a military alliance like NATO.
So, do you actually think we should try to honestly take them over if that happens?
I'm not opposed to that. Weirdly enough, I'm not.
I mean, I'm not all the way opposed to it either, but here's the thing, though. We would never let our borders be threatened like that. So why would we think that we won't let his?
Well, the Baltic states border Russia as well, right? They're already part of NATO. They joined NATO one at a time.
I get that. But Putin's red line wasn't the Baltic states. He apparently, here's the thing, though. Putin kind of conceded on a lot of red lines. Let's be real. The original red line
Finland-
was you don't go past
Finland-
Germany. And apparently NATO
Finland-
said, F what you talking
No.
about. And they took a lot more than that.
Why does what Putin wants determine what a different sovereign nation does?
Because this different sovereign nation cannot fight for itself.
And
it's not part of NATO, so we're
Ukraine
not
had-
obligated
no.
to really stick up for it.
Well, from the Budapest Memorandum, we are. From the Budapest Memorandum. You know about that, right?
Yeah, but here's the thing, though. Not for them to go ahead and get into a fight, though. Like, they got into us on their own.
No, they
and
didn't.
here's the
They
thing,
got
though.
invaded,
Hold
bro.
on. And
They got
if we're part of that
invaded.
alliance, hold on. If they're part of that alliance, then why do they need NATO? So they
You know
just
what the
cause
Budapest
problems for no
Memorandum
reason,
was?
then, is basically what you're saying, because they already had our protection.
Set. Do you know what the Budapest Memorandum was?
Please explain that. So for the chat, please.
Okay, so after the Soviet Union was dissolved, Ukraine was previously part of the Soviet Union, but became its own nation state, recognized by Russia.
And they gave up their nukes.
And they gave up their nukes. And so Russia, the UK, and the United States came together and said, if you give up your you give your nukes to Russia, all three of us will uphold your borders and guarantee your sovereignty.
Then
And
why
if
are they
you
trying to go
invaded-
into the UK then? That mean they really were causing problems. So they already had our protection in the first place, but you going in trying to get into NATO is literally causing problems. They could have stayed part of that declaration and it'd all been good. But
No,
now
they
they're trying
are
to get
still
into
part of
NATO
it.
and cause problems with Russia. I mean, you're damn near
No.
proving my point.
No, they weren't trying to get into NATO and cause all these problems. First of all, one NATO member can veto anything. So there is no chance of Ukraine being accepted. And all of them were saying Ukraine could never be accepted because Russia had already encroached on the borders in Crimea and in the Donbass. And if you have a border dispute, you cannot be included in NATO. So that was never even on the option. That was never even on the table.
Germany.
Hold on, man. What were you about to say?
You know the Berlin Wall?
Yep.
So the reunification of Germany is when that deal was made between NATO and Putin.
All right. Now, hold on. Let me get into my man Vladstein's chat real quick. The major reason is a warm seaport on the Black Sea and no NATO alliance to be able to block their ship travel. I mean, shit. Okay, Vladstein, man.
This guy's rough.
Yeah, let's be real. Vlad is 100% right about that. It is Russia's access to the sea. That is what Russia has been looking after for this whole time. They don't give a fuck about the people of Ukraine. They want access to that sea.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's it.
Line.
All right, then.
Not only do they not give a fuck about the people of Ukraine, they don't give a fuck about the people of Russia. It's like 1,120,000 Russians.
Now, I would say this.
War.
I would say this. Putin cares about his Russians, but he don't care about the oligarchs, though.
He's not a Stalin.
Right.
I will say he's not a Stalin. At the very least, he's not willing to let millions upon millions upon millions of his own people die of starvation.
Yeah.
Right. And that's a low bar. That is a low bar.
True. All right, guys, back to it.
The war, the main aim, he says, is to feel out what happens next.
Well, we're going to have a meeting with Vladimir Putin, and at the end of that meeting, probably in the first 2 minutes, I'll know exactly whether or not a deal can be made. How will you know that? Because that's what I do. I make deals.
It may stick in the craw to see Putin a wanted international war criminal given the red carpet treatment on U.S. soil. It may stick in the craw to imagine 20% of Ukraine being handed to Russia.
I mean, we did it for BB. We'll be all right.
In exchange for ending a war it began.
Yeah.
Do you know about the hundreds of thousands of children that have been kidnapped from Ukraine by Russia?
I mean, let's be real. I mean, all types of countries steal Ukrainian kids, but yeah, I have heard of that.
Don't forget the
and they're now like adopting them out, like their fucking cars. They're listing them online as like by hair color and eye color and personality.
Oh no, I've been heard about that. Trust me. I remember I got into the deep what was it, the deep web and all that good stuff, and I was looking up stuff like that and how you can like buy children and they can kind of like, you know, describe it like a different type of item. I'll say that.
Yeah,
There's a
it's,
lot of
And
ways.
Russia's using that to sell his to fund his war. Like,
I
he's
mean,
selling
hold on now,
Make sure
but
to use a virtual PC if you do that, by the way.
why
Yeah.
would they need to do that when they were selling all their liquid fuel to UK and Europe anyway?
hold on. You don't think Ukraine's doing the same thing? I mean, bro, come on.
I think
well, those are the point.
trying to make a war drone factory.
Look,
What?
I'm pretty
Why
sure
would
both
you not
sides
make
have
a
a
war
pretty
drone
wild
factory?
black market. Okay, both sides have a black market, and let's be real. Ukraine was known for its
one is
corrupt
selling
black market.
One is selling children they stole from the other,
I mean,
and that's Russia.
where did you get that one from? You know what? I'm gonna have to look into that one. That's pretty interesting, but because I've heard of that, but I don't know where that.
There are big reports on it. I mean, we can look it up now. We can look it up later.
I believe you.
If that did happen, and I'm not condoning it, if it did, but I think from the Russian perspective, that entire area used to be Russian. It's a Slavic area.
Texas used to be Mexico, bro.
What's that?
Texas used to be Mexico. Who
Yeah,
cares?
difference. They have the same ethnicity.
Yeah, I mean, Texas is a majority minority state. There's a lot of Latinos there.
Yeah, sure, but I'm talking about from their perspective. The other half of what I was saying is that so they believe they're their people.
Well, and guys, let's be honest. Like, look, we can call out both sides because like the Ukrainian army has been raping old ladies and kids, right? Like, so both sides. Look, we all agree that one very horrendous things happen in war. I mean, look, the type of guys who want to go out there and kill people, they like doing other terrible things as well. So let's get that out the way. But shout out to my man Gold Leader. He says, question for the callers, please set. Was Ukraine dropping rockets on their own citizens in the Donbass, in the Alvo? You guys know I'm not good with these names.
But we're not. But go ahead.
In the battalion kidnapping, ransoming, and torturing citizens since 2014 and 2015. Now, yes, that is true, though. No, they have been low-key. Ukrainians have been going against these what was it? These pro-Russian citizens or pro-Russian Ukrainians. I have heard of that, though. All right. But
yeah, of course, because they're being invaded by Russia.
Well,
I mean,
and you're over there celebrating the enemy.
If we were being invaded by Russia and there was pro-Russian citizens, I'd hope our government would go after them too.
They have before.
All right. Let's go.
But is there any alternative besides more weapons, more deaths, more sanctions, and more suffering? Will the Ukrainian people, and for that matter, the American people, accept a deal if it comes with a guarantee of U.S. security? And can Putin be trusted to stick with a ceasefire in a war he is prepared to fight for the rest of his life? We have an expert panel to discuss all this. Joining me now is Dave Smith, host of Part of the Problem, Brigadier General Mark Kimmett, the former U.S. Secretary of State for Political Military Affairs, Bill Browder, head of the Global Magnitsky Justice Campaign, and the YouTuber and commentator Anna from Ukraine. Well, welcome to all of you. Bill, from a purely military perspective, is there any alternative now to ending this war that does not involve Russia keeping most or not all of the territory that it has taken?
Well, I think that the most important issue is whether any of these parties want to stop fighting. And the Ukrainians, of course, want a ceasefire, but Vladimir Putin absolutely doesn't want a ceasefire. He wants to continue this war. He has every intention of continuing this war. He has no intention of compromising. And this whole idea of having a summit is just a way to get Trump off his back so that all of a sudden Zelensky becomes the guy who's supposedly getting in the way of peace. He wants to meet with Trump. He wants to say, we're going to do some type of deal that will be totally unacceptable to the Ukrainians. And then all of a sudden Trump is going to say to Zelensky, well, you're the guy who doesn't want peace. You're the one causing all this trouble. Putin gets everything he has set out to get, which is carrying on with the war, but he no longer has Trump on his back.
I mean, because Zelensky has no leverage in this war. And yeah, I mean, if he's trying to deny a ceasefire
we're supposed to be giving him leverage. We're supposed to be giving him leverage.
At the cost of who, bro? We're throwing their people into the fodder at this point.
We gave them stuff.
No, they are.
They don't have enough people.
It's called a war.
They want to keep fighting, bro.
No, Sid, we can't. Even if they want to, they're literally killing. They're like lowering their numbers.
It's
they're
an
throwing people
existential
into the
battle
wood
for them.
chapter.
They don't want to be part of Russia.
I mean, I'd rather have Ukrainians around than them be extinct or in low numbers.
Yeah,
like, bro, this is not looking good for them. They can keep fighting, but they're not going to
win. I'd rather have Ukraine exist on its own terms than exist on terms on fucking Putin's terms. Are you kidding?
And I get that, bro. I agree with you, but the reality of it is that they just is not looking good for them. There's no way out where they just get a favorable situation. They've lost too much.
Russia's dying way more than they are.
No, bro. Look, just because you're right. No, you're actually right because they're the ones, attacking and they're the ones defending. So Russia is losing more, but they can afford to lose more. You know that, right?
Can they?
Yes, they can because Russia's not pulling old people and kids off the street to fight in the war.
What's the average recruitment rate of a Russian right now?
Bro, it doesn't matter.
What's the average recruitment age?
I get what you're saying, bro. Dog, I get what you're saying. Trust me, but the powers that be kind of goes against Ukraine's sovereignty. Look, you got to understand, these guys went to war and they lost land. Even today, Russia's broken through parts of their front line. It's a wrap.
Even if we make a deal without them and fucking try to do something with Russia, it's not going to be the end of this. Ukraine will literally fight to the death.
Trump's not
guaranteed.
Doing that. Going to feel
well, if they fight to the death, then I mean they're just going to lose more people.
What's
Trump? We just have to sit there and watch it, and pay for it, and send weapons to it. That sucks.
My fucking name is part of that. But yeah, it's better to die than fucking comply to someone like Putin. Truly.
Well,
compliance is.
So you want the whole Ukrainian state rather die than comply to Putin?
Well, I wouldn't rather. I'm telling you what they will do.
Okay, I'm sorry. Okay, you're right. Okay, so that's their attitude. You're saying that's their attitude.
What about no? It's not though. They're getting
It is though.
They pulled all the boys off the street, so they're having to go with older guys now. They're running out of people. They already pulled.
Russia is also drafting people. The average rate of a fucking person drafted in the Russian army is 45, 50 years old.
Well, they're not going because they want to either, but it's not. They're not getting plucked off the street.
God, all right, look. I said I think I need to put this into perspective for you. So there's only like 37 million people in Ukraine, 141 million people in Russia.
Yeah, so war is no longer about the people, bro.
No. I mean, their army is way bigger. Their army's way bigger. So these guys can afford to lose more guys.
It's called a war of attrition.
Yes, that's what I'm getting at here.
Yes, I understand, but war is no longer about the army size. We're not in the 1940s anymore. We're not even in the 1990s. It's about technological advancement. And you know what?
I get that, but if we're destroying the guys operating the drones, then it is what it is. They got drones too.
NATO and the United States is so much more technologically advanced than Russia.
That's
so
us.
Much more.
That's us, not them.
And we could help. And we could help Ukraine.
I don't think we should get involved. Well, hold on. You think we should actually put our technological might out there? We should pretty much put boots on the ground in Ukraine.
Yeah, of course. Because there's two things. We could learn from what happens there, and it would help us in future wars. We could learn how they battle, and we have. And the Budapest Memorandum, which I was talking about earlier, we had already guaranteed to defend them if their borders were encroached on or if they were invaded. And
bro, I don't think nobody in America, and there's not too many people in America that want to go to war with Russia.
Do you want to go?
Because Lord knows I'll be rich.
No, we won't go to Russia. We won't.
What's Russia?
We spent all of Biden's presidency basically totally funding Ukraine, sending them tons of weapons, sending them tons of money, data sharing.
Yeah, that's different than fighting it.
All gone.
Yeah, that's all I'm
Can I
talking
give you
about
guys
doing.
some stats?
And it's all gone. Now what?
So I
We
just
should
looked at the
keep doing it.
stats.
We should
Hold on,
do
hold on.
more.
And
Parabolic, go
just
ahead.
right quick, 69% of Ukrainians would like to end the war as soon as possible. Although that is alongside Zelensky's approval rating of 67%. So Ukrainians don't want to be in war anymore. That's just
Yeah,
fact.
they
But
want
they
to end it on
also
But
their
they still
terms.
support
They want
what
to end it on.
Zelensky and
They want to
so
end it on
let
their
me just finish this
terms.
right
Are you
quick.
kidding?
Let
Yeah.
me just finish this thought right quick. But they do approve of what Zelensky has been doing to try to end the war.
Who's the
Okay.
news source?
Which is to end it on their terms, and is not what Putin is doing.
But they can't
Putin is
afford.
trying to end
Look,
it.
if they want to end it on their terms, they're gonna have to be able to fight Russia, and they can't. They're gonna have to be able to take
Yeah, and so
something
we should
back.
help them. We should help
Nope,
them because
nope.
they're
They
not
gotta
the
do it on
ones
their own.
invading.
They have to do it on their own.
No, they
Like,
absolutely do not. It'll be
yeah, they
worse.
should.
It'll
They
be
have
worse
to.
when
They're not
Russia
doing it.
is able. Bro, it'll be worse when
Yo,
Russia
I turned 36 next year.
reconsolidates.
Put me on the front lines. I got it.
Oh man,
It'll be worse when Russia reconsolidates, revamps, and fucking tests Article 5 of NATO, which they're definitely going to do in the Baltic states, and then they're
no,
going
they
to prove
won't.
the article. That is totally going to happen.
No, it's not. I
It
think.
will.
Look, dog. Look,
That
those
will happen.
situations
I
are
will bet you.
separate. And here's the
I will bet you
problem, bro.
$1,000. I will bet you
Bro, here's the
$1,000.
problem. Look, I will admit this. Russia's exhausted themselves trying to fight this war. So to think that they're just going to try to jump into another one, nah. And then especially somebody under NATO, which if we would, all these other countries will be warranted to hop on Russia's ass.
Just
Just not a
jump in. Here's what will happen. Here is
Like,
what will happen. They will make an agreement with China. There will be a simultaneous attack on Taiwan by China, and at that same moment, Russia will test Article 5 of NATO by either attacking a Baltic state or attacking Poland, and that will preoccupy Poland, preoccupy the European Union and the United States. Meanwhile, the United States will be trying to deal with what's going on in Europe and what's going on in the Pacific.
well, I'm gonna have to
China,
give you
Taiwan. And that will happen.
conspiracy.
Were those North Korean soldiers in Russia ever confirmed?
Yeah,
it was.
there's a bunch.
So
There's, I think
we all do
30,000.
realize
Yep.
we all do realize that Russia is also getting to the bare minimum of their soldiers, right? I'm not saying
Nah,
that they have
no.
less
I read
than
into that,
Ukraine.
and it was just it was Kim Jong-un trying to get rid of disgruntled soldiers that didn't really like him all that much. He just sent them off to die on a battlefield date, and he knew they were going to die on. It was a way of getting rid of people he don't like.
Not only that, but he's also learning from the way they're fighting. He's also getting data back from them.
And let's be real though, and remember, Ukraine's already pulling people off the street. If Russia started doing the same thing,
I agree with that.
it'd be bad.
Russia is doing the same thing, just not in their rich areas. They're doing the same things in minority areas in Russia. They just have more places to pull from than Ukraine.
All right, but all right, guys, let's get back to the video here.
Which is what he's had for the last 6 months.
Let me bring in Dave Smith here. Dave, again, I've got a lot of military in my family, and they have said to me pretty consistently for a long period of this war that there's no way that Ukraine can actually win, that it may want to win and has shown extraordinary courage in fighting for much longer than many people thought it would be able to, but that actually it cannot actually defeat Russia. And therefore, what you're talking about is just a question of how much territory they'll end up losing and how many people on both sides are going to end up dying. And the numbers are horrific, obviously, in terms of the death count now, over 1 million on the Russian side, hundreds of thousands on the Ukrainian side. Again, there's two things to look at here. One is the politics and one is the military. From a military perspective, it just seems to me that Ukraine is in a very difficult position.
Yeah, I mean, part of this, I think, comes down to how exactly you define winning or losing. I mean, I think if we're all being fair, the truth is that Ukraine put up a much better fight than many of us imagined they would have, and I'll say myself included in that. I think it was back in 2014 where Vladimir Putin said, I don't remember if he said 1 week or 2 weeks, but he said, I could be in Kiev.
What's up?
They only did that because of our help and others' help.
Good point.
We were a big part of that, and we should remain that. But keep going.
In a week or 2 weeks, and that certainly wasn't the case. You know, Ukraine put up a very good fight, and they protected Kiev. And there's a part of that, at least, is that the Ukrainians were much more formidable than most of us thought they were. And part of that is also that they had a kind of blank check from the Biden administration in the Western world. Part of that is that since 2014, NATO has been doing joint military training exercises with the Ukrainian military. But I think to your point, Piers, when it comes down to the stuff that like Joe Biden and Nancy Pelosi, when she was Speaker of the House, was on record saying they were going to take back Crimea and that no territory would be lost. Of course, we were told that sanctions alone would win this war, if you remember in the very beginning, Piers. And the fact is that all of that has turned out to be wrong, and that even though this has taken longer than probably Vladimir Putin would have liked, or at least was claiming it would, that yes, Ukraine is not taking back all of this territory. And now the best that we could hope for is that some type of deal is reached here where the killing stops, as Trump said in his greatest comment ever about the situation. And so I think we should all at least take it as a positive sign that Vladimir Putin and Donald Trump are talking. I think it is absolute madness that for the last 3 years, the two countries that have the biggest stockpile of nuclear weapons in the history of the world have not had their heads of state talking. I mean, this is just craziness. At the very least, lines of communication should be open, which they were not at all under the Biden administration. So I'm happy that this thing has pivoted. I don't know if it's true that Vladimir Putin has no interest in ending this. I've seen it reported that he's at least been signaling that he would be willing to settle for the Donbass region and like transportation to Crimea in the south there, but give back some of that territory. Let's all hope that that's true, because the truth is, Pierre.
These are so contested regions. These aren't regions that he has just won and has full control over. There's still ongoing combat in them. So any concession of them would be them literally just giving them to him.
I mean,
and we would never do that. We would never do that as the United States. We would never do that.
I know, but who's gonna beat the United States like that, though? Who can beat us like that? Nobody. But guess who can beat Ukraine like that?
It could happen in the future. It could happen
or whatever. But there's 880,000 active military personnel in Ukraine and 1.5 million in Russia, according to estimate numbers, of course.
Yeah, and Russians are still dying at like what, 16-1, or like?
No,
nah, not nothing that crazy. But it is probably like maybe
I don't know the exact number. It's
like
5-1.
I can see that.
This isn't the white death.
We could look it up, but they're dying way more than Ukrainians. We even heard Pierce say it, where
due to large numbers, right?
Died in Russia, and hundreds of thousands in Ukraine. So
yeah, because of course, you know, Russia has a bigger army.
Yeah, they have during World War II, they built like 118,000 of their little tanks. So it's still ranked number 2 as the most feared tanks on Earth. Not because it's anywhere near the tank of the A1s or newer. They just made 100,000 of them, and they just keep coming like ants.
And during World War II, Ukraine was actually part of Russia or the Soviet Union. But Ukraine is actually the most lethal fighting force on the face of the earth right now. That is true. So,
That's
bruh. Sid. Sid.
Hitler tried to attack Russia through Ukraine.
Yeah, he did. And it failed.
Okay, let's keep it going.
As Scott Horton has told you, as your brother-in-law has told you, the only option here is to send in the 82nd Airborne, and the people of America simply are not willing to do that. We're not willing to actually go to direct war with Russia over whether Luhansk is controlled by Moscow or Kiev.
Anna from Ukraine.
They're not willing to go to direct war with us.
I mean, bro, we're not willing to go to direct war. We're not. I'm be honest with you.
They are not willing to go to direct war with us either.
Yeah, I know, because mutual destruction. That's the problem with getting into it with Russia. It's like, bro, if it had been anybody but Russia and China, we could have got involved.
Yeah.
But since Russia, it's like we kind of got to back off.
Just so we're clear, I just did the numbers. and for every one Ukrainian soldier killed, there's 8 Russian soldiers.
Damn.
That's okay. Never mind. You was close.
8.06.
8.06.
So it's so 250,000 Russian soldiers, 31,000 Ukrainian soldiers. You can do the math.
Yes.
Okay.
And so like we can't get involved, but you know, China can help Russia, India can help Russia, North Korea can help Russia, Laos can help Russia. But no, we
Dog,
must
India
not get
isn't helping
involved at
Russia
all.
as long as China is its like, you know, buddy or whatever.
Well, no, they
right?
are. They were one of the biggest. They were one of the biggest purchasers of Russian oil.
Yeah, no. I agree. They've helped them financially, but and you
That's
have to
what
agree with
funds
me.
their
So
war
does the
machine.
EU. So does the fucking EU.
Yeah, but the EU is actually actively winding it down. They were
Yeah,
integrated.
no, I
unfortunately.
100% agree with you. I'm not saying that they're not. What I'm saying is that like saying that they're buying their stuff. That's not necessarily the same thing as giving them soldiers, providing them with weaponry. It's not the exact same. The Russia would still have to buy that stuff with the money.
Money is just as important in a war.
I don't know,
Like,
Sid. I think you're being a bit reckless
especially-
with us saying that we should just go against Russia. It's like, bro, if it was anybody but Russia and China, I would be all for it. But since
They
it's them,
ain't gonna nuke us, dude. Every single time they've been
bro,
threatening us
I'm
for
be honest with
years.
you,
They've been
they are a
threatening us.
formidable fighting force. I'm be honest with you, they haven't even used
I'm not
everything
saying
they
we
had
should
on
send our
Ukraine.
army in. I'm not saying we should do anything extreme, but they aren't gonna nuke us. They fucking saber rattle nukes all the time. Threaten nukes over and
say
over
we get
and
into
over.
a war.
They might do it. Just the might of
They
it and the fact that they
won't,
could do it at
dude.
high numbers. Yes,
All right,
that's why
say
we're
we
going
get
to be
into a war.
reluctant.
Every time they threaten, we should be like, "Oh, sorry, Russia. We forgot you had nukes. We're so sorry. We're just gonna back away."
That's
Oh
what
my
it
God,
means.
That's
Russia,
kind of
we're
what
so
they do to
sorry.
us. I mean, we was messing with Iran, and they backed
That
off
is
on us.
not-
So it's kind of what we both
They
do.
backed off on us because they are preoccupied in Ukraine.
But let's be real though, they could have got involved and they didn't.
Yeah,
they could
because
easily
they are
send a submarine or
preoccupied
a
and all their
couple, but they didn't.
resources are in Ukraine.
I mean, let's be real. There's like a balance in this world of the superpowers that just is never crossed. Like we'll get into it economically, but physically, no. We're like on the battleground, no.
Here's how we win a war against Russia. We recruit the northern Vietnamese.
Bro, Russians nukes don't even work.
Why would they do that? Where do you think they got their
wild assumption, but shoot, it's nice for wishful thinking.
Koreans built their stuff?
I mean, North Vietnam's the only place that's never been fucking captured by the U.S. That's all I'm saying.
Well, they're the proxy of Russia for war. Say like South Korea was.
No. That was the whole thing. I 100%. I know that. What I was making more of a joke is that if the U.S. can't beat them, then just send them after Russia. Maybe they can't beat them either.
Yeah. But all right, guys, let's keep it going.
What is the view in Ukraine about this? Like I said, I went to Kyiv 4 months after the war began. I interviewed the president and the first lady, and was incredibly impressed by Zelensky, I have to say, and his resolve and resilience. And I've continued to be very impressed by his resolve and resilience and that of the Ukrainian people. But there comes a point in every war when reality has to prevail. Do Ukrainian people believe that this war can end without ceding the territory that Russia has taken?
Thank you so much for having me, Piers, and for inviting other Ukrainians to actually speak about the realities on the ground directly from Ukraine. And to tell you the truth, it would be much easier to end this war if it was a conflict for the territories or resources, as many keep describing. We all know that Russia is the largest country in the world. Trust me, has enough territories, and actually a lot of these territories demand attention and money from the Kremlin. But instead, they choose to invest in war. And at this moment of time, they have approximately 1 million active soldiers. They've lost a lot, but they also have an active army. They have a fully operating military machine. All of their industry is centered around the production of weapons. They are also making great progress in drone warfare, in the war of the 21st century. They have trustworthy allies like China, unfortunately, North Korea, and Iran. And for me, it's pretty obvious that, once again, unfortunately, this war is not about Ukraine, it's not about Donetsk or Luhansk. It's the way to demonstrate the weakness of the West, which Russian propaganda speaks constantly about. I personally feel very sorry that all of the experts who speak about Russia-Ukraine war very rarely watch Russia state TV, where they openly speak about the need to extend further, and they mention a lot of countries,
you guys,
and they actually speak
that,
about.
Respectfully, Set, you want us to be weak. You do want us to be that weak fucking West that is like, oh my God, we can't ever engage with Russia at all. We can't ever. We can't
bro,
help
it's gonna
Ukraine
turn
at
into a
all.
nuclear war. Like, it's not that. I want us to be
Okay,
weak.
they've turned that
I'm
multiple
saying
times,
that
and it's never happened.
I'm
They've
saying
set
that,
multiple
bro.
red lines.
Have we
and
ever
it
attacked
never-
it? Have we ever attacked these guys? No. So
They're
you're
not
putting
gonna do it, because if they did it, they'd be fucked too. They'd be destroyed too.
It'd be mutual destruction. That's why we're not gonna do it, because we know we just can't get away scot free.
We already have. We already have done it. We already have done it. We already have crossed.
Did we ever bomb
multiple red
Moscow?
lines
Have we
of
ever
theirs.
bombed Moscow? Have we
That's not what
bombed
I'm
Moscow?
saying we should do. That's not what I'm saying we should do.
No, that's basically what you're saying. We not gotta do, because that's the only way to stop these guys.
And if we target any of their nuclear facilities, they go to automatic nuclear war.
Ukraine targeted their nuclear facilities. They targeted the nuclear triad. They've hit almost all of their air defensive nuclear triad, and if any, the Russians' nuclear doctrine is, if they are encroached on at all, if their territory is encroached on at all,
okay,
and they are threatened,
Russian law,
they will attack.
In a nuclear war.
And Russia and Ukraine has encroached on their territory multiple times, time after time. They even actually occupied some of their territory.
They don't see them as that big of a threat. I'm gonna be honest with you. If
they were using our weapons to do it, they were using weapons we gave them to do it.
My man. Russia hasn't even really pulled out the hypersonic missiles yet. Like, I always just say, they're not really playing their hardest right now.
They launched
They're not, because they're trying to roll it black, because they don't want to be looking like, honestly, they look like war criminals.
Scared of
but
Russia.
It could
Dude,
be
Russia
worse.
is a fucking third world nation with a fucking fake paper tiger military.
Bro,
you are so scared of
bro. You really think we can just beat Russia with no problem? Nothing's gonna happen. It's just gonna be an easy bombing campaign.
Venus. Russia went to Venus, like sent a probe to Venus like 8 times.
Awesome.
That's where we have our
sending probes.
Bro, Russia has hypersonic missiles, and yes, they have hella nukes. Yes. You tell me all 1,000 of their nukes don't work.
Russia has sent hypersonic missiles into Ukraine, and Ukraine actually intercepted.
No, they didn't. It hit them. They just didn't put a head on it. It hit them. They was flexing on them. They was like, we can hit you anytime.
Yeah, one did, and that was the one that is the newest one. But they actually have also intercepted
with no head on it. That was a threat.
I mean, you think they don't have nukes in space ready to drop from satellites?
No, okay, I don't think they have all that one.
I don't even think that's. No, I don't think they do.
Why not?
The nukes
The nukes, because it's not feasible. It's not actually feasible to have a nuke in space. Just straight up.
The nukes they have
it would burn up on
are meant. Yeah, the nukes they have up there are meant to destroy satellites and communication.
Do you know about the Russian dead man switch? You know that if we hit these guys, they're gonna unleash on us.
You're doing their own fucking propaganda, dude.
Bro, think about it like this though. If they mess with us, then we're gonna come for them. But Ukraine is not really messing with us.
They've given us
so speaking some facts here, man. Because like at the very least, this is the only reason why I haven't specifically suggested let's just targeted strike fucking Putin, is because they do have that dead man switch. If Putin goes down, the whole world goes to war, and it doesn't last long.
Same if Donald Trump.
I honestly think that's bullshit, and we'll see it in the coming years. Putin will go down. We're not going to get a nuclear war.
I mean, Sid, you extremely underestimate Russia. It's like, it's crazy, but it is what it is.
I don't underestimate Russia. I've been listening to them for years. We're about to nuke. We're about to nuke. If you do this, we're going to nuke. If you send this to Ukraine, we're going to nuke. If Ukraine does this, we're going to nuke. Never has it happened. Never.
Well, shout out to the neoliberal Sid, but shout out Vladstein. If Putin wanted to bring back the USSR, he would be pushing proxy wars around the world like they did back in the Cold War. Sid, you're pushing for war.
They are. They fucking help Iran, the biggest funder of terrorism in the world.
Sid, you and Hillary Clinton would get along just fine.
They're the main ally of Iran. They're the main ally of North Korea. They fund all this shit. And you know what? They threaten nukes all the time, and they have been since the beginning of this war. And you know what's never happened? They've never nuked.
It hasn't gotten that serious.
We always take them out.
And honestly, it hasn't gotten that serious.
We always take Russia out?
No.
No. I would say this. It never gotten to a point where Russia needed to nuke anybody.
According to their own doctrine, we have.
Nah, trust me, we ain't flipped that switch yet on them. Trust me, and they ain't flipped that switch yet on us. That's the problem, bro. It goes both ways, bro. How? No. All right, Think about it like this. Let's say we did one to take Iran, literally take Iran over. Russia can't stop us. They couldn't. They're gonna have to it's like the same situation. No, I'm trying to give you the same situation though. As much as Russia want to stop us, just like we want to stop them from taking Ukraine, we couldn't do shit about it because it would set off a nuclear war.
Well, no, we could actually do way more than Russia could because we're a way more powerful country. We're way more economically powerful.
Of course.
Militarily powerful.
But I get that, but Russia's not. Come on now.
But you can't completely underestimate them. It's World War III if we go. If we do what you want, it's World War III.
So
that's what they've been saying forever. What do you think I want?
So you're aware,
what do you think I want? By the way,
sounds like
just so you're aware, Sid, the U.S. Does have the ability to intercept ICBMs, right? However, on a large-scale attack, there is no possible way to intercept all. So, I'm not saying that that's necessarily what's going to happen, but in my world, you have to assume the worst and hope for the best.
That's why we need.
I live in the state where there is the most nuclear silos, part of the nuclear triad. What I'm saying is, I'm not saying we should go into full-on war, U.S. troops fighting Russian troops. What I'm saying is, we should support Ukraine financially with weapons to the teeth. We should arm them to the teeth. They literally are.
We can arm them as much as they want, dog. It's not going to win them the war.
It will put Russia on a back foot, for real.
I mean, it will put Russia. They'll still lose. It would just weaken Russia for later conflicts.
No, neither will win. Russia's not going to win.
I was about to say.
All right, you want to predict a cold conflict, baby?
Everybody going to be dead in Russia and Ukraine, like straight up, like all the soldiers, based off the numbers.
All right, well, by your numbers, Putin will go out, and you don't have to worry about anything.
But all right. Back to the video.
These guys have
Putin's not a
fucking nukes forever, dude. These guys have threatened nukes every other day for the last 5 years. It's never happened.
All right, well, we said with the last word on that.
Berlin, that was half Soviet not that long ago. So unfortunately, if Putin gets a prize, more Ukrainian territories, and he's back on the international arena, it will be taken not just as a green light, but as an invitation to continue. And the army of soldiers that he has, it's very obvious he does not want them back in Russia, because this will create a lot of problems inside Russia. For Putin, the continuation of this war means the continuation of his regime. And this is exactly what other authoritarian regimes also expect. So I may say a very surprising phrase, but as for Ukrainian, forget about Ukraine for a second. Think about the destroyed international world order, the violated rules. If we start rewriting the borders of Ukraine, it will 100% continue to Taiwan, the Philippines, the Baltics, and 20, 30 years may have very bad consequences even for those lucky countries that are across the ocean from Russia.
Well, thank you very much for that.
I don't like that fear mongering they try to pull on us. Like, oh, well, you know, if you don't help us take care of it, you guys are next. I'm like, no, the hell we not. Russia
No,
ain't gonna
it
try
is
us.
that. No, it's not us. It's not us, but it is saying that you can just launch a war of aggression, not actually win territory, but be given territory, and be rewarded for it and be accepted into our community for it.
Now, not to
Not
be a
saying it's the
dick,
exact same, but
not to be
Poland
the
and
dick,
France,
but I
man.
mean, yeah, Poland. I mean, here, low key, here, hold on now. You know, Europe is not just some sitting duck. They got nukes too. They can also here. And here's the thing: Putin's don't want to go to war with NATO. He does
You
not want to
guys
do that.
are Neville Chamberlains. I'm the
Bro,
only
he
Winston
does not want to
Churchill
go to
here.
war with NATO. Come on, bro. Really? You think
I'm
he
the
wants to go
only
to war?
Churchill here.
God
No, he
damn
doesn't
it.
want to go to. He doesn't think NATO's real, bro. He's gonna test
What?
Article 5.
What?
No, he will. He will test Article 5 by hitting a random village.
NATO is real.
Guarantee this.
What do you mean?
Guarantee this. He will test Article 5. You guys know what that is, right?
I mean, yes, but you're kind of like, just go ahead, bro, because you're kind of just like shocking us all with your statement. But go ahead.
He's going to test Article 5 by hitting a random village that no one gives a fuck about in the Baltic states, probably Lithuania, Estonia, a country like that.
And it's gonna be a NATO one.
Both those are NATO ones, yeah.
Okay. So
And
you tell me he's gonna hit 2 NATO states and nothing's gonna happen. Well, 2 NATO countries.
yeah, because they'll hit a random village, and you know we would be kind of seen as silly to like launch a full war because he hit this random little village. Maybe it was even on
Nah, because NATO would have
World
to get
War I
involved
started because
because
one
they're
guy
part of
died.
NATO. Ukraine is not part of NATO, so we really don't like have to get involved in that sense. I do hear
we don't have to get involved in it either. These are all just words on paper, brother. And so he would say his theory is that we wouldn't get involved for something like that. And once he does hit NATO and we don't get involved, which especially with someone like Trump at the helm in the United States, which is the most powerful NATO country, and very amenable to Putin, he would be totally like green lighted to continue striking NATO.
to
And
be
that
honest,
is
I would think that
what's
we
gonna
would.
happen.
No, I hear your point. No, you actually have a good point, and this is what I would concede on. If Putin did do that, you're right. We wouldn't get directly involved, but we would supply all the NATO countries to go full force on them. So he would be getting jumped by pretty much every NATO country but the U.S.
And say that
No, they wouldn't want to either.
I mean, they're going to get taken over. It's like, wait, what? Now you're saying that they wouldn't want to fight?
that happens and we just keep letting him go. What do you think happens? What do you think his end game would be?
I think we're letting him go by giving him any of this territory in Ukraine, and you guys are calling me crazy. So
I'm just asking, how far do you think he would go?
As far as he could.
Like what country is that?
I don't know until
Poland?
he is stopped. If they're able to stop him, I don't know.
I think
don't know
Sid may
who
be
would
trying to
actually
say
be able to
that he will
stop him.
keep going until someone tries to stop him.
All right.
Because people like that,
until somebody does stop him. Yes.
Well, people like that will quest for power until they are stopped.
Yeah, all those countries around there are NATO, and if he started pushing on NATO, I mean, I believe the reason NATO's there is because they were started during the Soviet Union during the Cold War to stop the USSR, and they accomplished that, so they had to start having a reason to exist. Kept going after Russia.
And Putin has said the biggest geopolitical tragedy in the history of Earth is the dissolution of the Soviet Union. So,
sorry, what?
All right, guys. So hold on now. I got to go ahead and address the Hellbat Super Jet set. Look up the military size of Russia to date. And I got it right here. It says active duty personnel, 1.1 million. Reserves, 1.5 million. And see targeted expansions, up to 1.5 million active duty. Military balance estimate, let's see, as of early 2025, 1,134,000.
Okay, we already knew this. I already made
Yeah.
the point
By
about
the way, earlier I
personnel,
gave you
but
that the a general number. These are ground troops I gave you. So those
Yes.
that 1.5 and
yes.
800,000.
And
Those
So
we
are
we're
need
just
to
looking
straight
not
at
up
look.
pretty
ground
much
troops.
We
a
need to
potential
not
of like
look at.
2.6 million then got all together.
And if they
We
were
need to not look at
more,
troops
it would be
like
more like
they're the end all be all.
150
It's
million,
a technological world.
I mean, we
It's
need
about.
operators.
40 million. If
Where you
they
think they
were,
operating it from? Like
If
what?
any of
Like
you guys have been paying attention to this war, it is a
yeah,
war fought with drones.
I know, and they're using these drones with these long wires, and somebody has to have these wires. So when you run out of those guys because they're being killed on both sides, then what?
Yeah, and Ukraine is not striking the guy driving a drone. They're striking the manufacturing. They're striking the oil refineries where they make the money to keep producing these drones.
I
They're
mean, you're
striking.
right, but
that's
so is Russia.
supply line.
So Russia's striking that, and they're also just striking fucking random apartment buildings,
True,
hospitals,
true.
fucking daycares,
Recruitment centers,
playgrounds,
your
recruitment
recruitment centers.
centers.
Yeah, you're right. No, you're right. I mean, Putin is being a complete savage over this. I will admit that. It's not like he's doing this with grace. So that's why one, I wanted to end, and two, well, what makes you think you could beat this military force without U.S. getting involved? Oh wait,
I
you
think
believe
the
we
U.S.
should?
should be. I think we should be more involved with aiding them militarily because we totally could.
All right.
Is there any way to resolve this now without Russia keeping most, if not?
Oh, and shout out last scene says, laugh my ass off. Look up the France nuclear doctrine set. Man, hopefully they're not being a bunch of. You know what? It's France. I'm gonna have to expect some very liberal things.
All of the territory is taken.
Let me hope. Let's see here.
Well, certainly there is, but I think it would come at a cost and a price that is unacceptable to anyone in the West, whether it's the European countries or it's the United States. More than likely, if we continue this drip, drip, drip of equipment resupply and ammunition resupply, this war could continue for years. In a little bit of self-promotion, I wrote about this in the Wall Street Journal 4 months after the war started, that this was going to turn into a long, ugly slog. Could it end quickly with Russia losing? Yes, but one can only imagine the types of weapons, the quantity of weapons, and the quantity of soldiers that the West would have to put into Ukraine to accomplish that mission. And that's a price that I don't think any country in either Europe or the United States is willing to pay.
In terms of Putin's aspirations, many are very fearful that should he be seen to prevail.
I mean, well, according to France nuclear doctrine, I mean, yeah, hey, if they do feel threatened, they can use it whenever they please. Like all they gotta do is just feel threatened and feel like it's for self-defense, and they can go ahead and pop off a nuke.
Yeah, and look up Russia, same thing. And I mean, they've felt threatened a lot. So
I don't know, but let's not try to put people's backs to the wall here. You never know.
In Ukraine, should he do a deal with President Trump, which allows him to keep a lot of the territory he's taken, that it will simply embolden him to expand and go after other countries because he will have sensed that there is a weakness in the West to stop his imperialistic advance.
I think after 4 years of war, that has been somewhat discredited as a theory. The fact remains he is fighting for as long as he has to take a couple of 100 square miles in Ukraine fighting a single country. He's got to think twice about trying to take on all of Europe and all of NATO. Now, it's true he could do a lightning strike into the Baltics and probably get some land there, but there's no way that there's any chance that he could take over Poland, Romania, Hungary, and then have to fight 27 different nations to do that. This has been very, very costly for Vladimir Putin.
Yep.
I think he is not only looking for a way out, he won't admit it, but he probably has moderated his war aims a bit. And it could very well be this is leading to a frozen conflict, very much like we've seen in Kashmir and until recently Nagorno-Karabakh.
Well, joining the panel now with a Russian view from the occupied territory of Donbass is the Russian state TV presenter Andrei Afanasyev. Welcome to you.
The boldness of it all. The boldness. A Russian in the occupied territory.
Can you give me
It is
your
crazy that
perspective?
they have this guy on.
Oh God, bro. It's like having an Israeli from Golem Heights. It's like, wow.
Yeah.
On what you think Vladimir Putin will want from this summit with Donald Trump?
Well, sure, I could tell you what Vladimir Putin wants from this summit, but definitely now we see the result of colored revolutions inspired by the West. It all started, the whole discussion, the whole problems the world has now, it started done, and it started with interfering of Western special services and governments into sovereign politics. And after that, the 14th year came, 15th year violated Minsk from the West and all the rest. So what we see now is that West understands that they are losing. You are losing, guys. That's why you discuss it. That's why you talk like that. I was so shocked to hear all those propagandist stamps, cliches from your peers. I'm so sorry to hear that.
You
It's
guys
a
all agree?
devastation for journalism, actually, in the world. Because it's not an imperialistic war. It's a war for survival. It's a metaphor of survival for Russia.
I believe that
because you were.
You guys all agree we're losing? We're losers.
I believe that that's what he believes.
All right, now hold on. Let's hold on, guys. Before we come in,
we're losing. We're losers. We
hold
suck.
on, Sid.
We can't
Before you
fight
go
Russia.
before we answer that, let's let the man finish his entire statement now. Let's hear him out all the way through. I'll pause it and then we'll get all our thoughts on it.
Cliches from your peers. I'm so sorry to hear that. It's a devastation for journalism, actually, in the world. Because it's not an imperialistic war. It's a war for survival. It's a metaphor of survival for Russia. This all started because you were coming too close to our borders in order to actually defeat, destroy, and put Russia into pieces and digest us. And it's a defensive war for us. And this is how it's felt. It was felt like this back in 2014. It was felt like this in 2022. And it is felt like this now. And Trump is saying that 88% of Ukrainian population is ready for the deal. But here in Russia, every single person understands that no deal will guarantee our security other than the fulfilled results of special military operation. So that's it.
Bill Browder, what's your response to that?
Well, I mean, that's the most Kafkaesque, black is white, up is down thing I've ever heard.
I mean, all right, what you guys think about what that man was saying?
I agree. That is the most Kafka-esque, black is white, up is down thing I ever heard. But
do you think he believes it?
No.
You don't think he believes it? What do you think he believes?
Russians aren't even allowed to call this thing a war. They have to say special military operation. Otherwise, they get criminally punished.
Hey, I mean, maybe it's verified now.
I can't trust anything out of Russia because they get fucking punished by their authoritarian government for saying anything against it. So they're only going to say anything that they think aligns with Putin and his end goals. They can't even say war. They can't even call it a war.
I believe he
I'm
just
with
did.
that
Or you know, the
commentator.
language
He's
might have
like,
changed.
This man literally said the survival of Russia. Are we kidding?
I can explain.
I know, and he said it like it's because of our borders, and you wanted NATO on our borders, and I'm like, well, yeah, but survival of Russia is like, come on, you guys have been just fine not doing this.
Yeah, fun fact.
Yeah, and they already were on the borders
because
too.
it's not a war. Putin actually had to make a new law.
Yeah.
What's that?
I mean, he had to make a new law to be in charge for 26 years as well. But
well, I mean, then you got to talk about Zelensky because he did the same thing.
No, according to Ukraine's constitution, if you are in a time of war, you don't have elections. And they were invaded and they are at war. And even his opposition party in parliament is saying that he needs
Well,
to be in charge and we're not
let's
having
just keep
elections.
that war
Even his
going.
opposition. That would be like Democrats saying that would be like Democrats saying Trump should stay in charge right now. That's how crazy that is. But yeah.
Oh wow. All right, let's hear this man's response.
Russia is the aggressor.
Yeah, Putin actually
Ukraine
had
is the
to
victim.
should
Russia's
write up a new law so that foreigners could be in his military.
Oh wow.
Before this,
Oh.
because it's not considered a.
That's because a whole bunch of people.
Emergency.
A whole bunch of people joined.
No, trust me. Putin created all types of shady ways to get people on the field and to fund this war. I mean, even throwing out some of his oligarchs so he
had
can
to make
take over their businesses to fund them.
Whole ass new law because of it.
Hey man, when you're a dictator, like who tells you no?
Did you guys ever watch the Navalny documentary?
No.
Oh, it's good. You know who he is, right?
The name I remember learning about him, but I can't remember what it is.
Yeah, no, he was like Putin's like biggest opposition. Not that he really has any or whatever, but he went through poisoning. Putin tried to poison him while he was going across Russia. And then I think it was in 2021 or 2022, he was in prison. And I think it was 2023 that he actually was killed in prison in Russia. But he's a really
all right, guys. We're gonna have to end it on that note because we are 30 minutes over time. But hey, great conversation, guys. And guys, we're gonna head out on this one. Make sure you guys double tap the screen and like the video, and make sure to subscribe to the channel and hit that bell for the next time we go live or a clip or a short drop. All right, guys. S.E.T with S.E.T Media. Appreciate.
Have a good night, guys.
Have
a good night, guys. Oh, and shout out to the panel, man. Great conversation. Yeah, no problem, guys. All right, heading out.
Thanks
you guys
for having
be
us,
safe.
You're the best.
I appreciate you guys. All right, man. Make sure you guys have a safe one. Peace, guys. Today, modern AI is quite advanced, except two problems. It is censored and it takes your information. Well, it's hard to find a tech company that don't. But let me introduce you to one. Shout out to my sponsor, Venice AI, which allows you to protect your information and avoid censorship. Now ask yourself, why should a team of programmers at these leading AI apps be the ones to decide what is okay for you to ask and think? Also, would you be comfortable if the presidential administration could govern what AI tells you? Man, I know I wouldn't. But also, while you think about that, did you know that? Let me tell you this, it's gonna be crazy, but ChatGPT has a former director of the NSA sitting on their board right now, guys. And shout out to that man, Edward Snowden. He called this a willful, calculated betrayal of the rights of every person on Earth. And we all know how Alexa is. Alexa listens to us and recommends products based on our conversations. I mean, talk about a violation of privacy. But guys, these are just a few reasons I decided to team up with Venice AI and get you a better options or solutions to your AI needs. Now, guys, you can go ahead and check these guys out with my promo code. So shout out to Venice AI. Now, if you want to use AI without fear of handing over your most intimate thoughts to a corporation or government, you can get 20% off a pro plan using my link, Venice AI S.E.T, and use the code S.E.T. Man, so shout out, guys. So make sure you guys use the code. Put it up one more time for you guys right there. Once again, guys, if you guys want to go ahead and have unleashed AI, uncensored AI, go ahead and tap in with my guys at Venice AI, guys. Hey, this is S.E.T and appreciate the support. And shout out to the sponsor.